Hello, this is Vaishnavi Pagdipalli. This is my presentation about analyzing UK retailers' e-commerce key transactional data in 10 countries. The dataset used for the assignment is e-commerce data, actual transactions from UK retailers. The data analysis is done for the dataset of the transactions occurring for a UK-based and non-registered online retailers. The analysis is done in Excel using different functions, formulas, Pareto tables, as well as graphs, and charts for the data. They are considering the tables and visualizations. Some inferences have been made regarding the opportunities and potential for the UK retailers in different nations. The primary purpose is to analyze the pattern of quantities and the transactions between the UK retailers and the customers in the given 10 countries. The second point is understanding the sales of different products such that relevant strategies can be made for the further future. Analyzing how the total cost of the quantities and the distributed amount of different nations, employing the use of Excel functions and visualizations to comprehend the data more easily. The data set, the first point here is the data set is regarding UK retailers e-commerce transaction for sales. It was downloaded from the dataset including on Canvas and is also accessible on Kaggle. It is compiled by the UCI machine learning respiratory. The dataset comprises a total of 6,571 rows and 8 columns. It covers each transaction that happens on December 8th to 9th, 2011. The data cleaning, data gathering from various resources may present quality issues, decreasing results, prediction worth. For the chosen dataset, the dataset cleaning was performed on basis of the below points. A first point is for some quantities there were no descriptions of commodities, thus rows with the missing data were eliminated from the dataset. Using the dataset, an additional column, the overall cost was included but by multiplying unit prices with quantity. The removal of duplicate functions was used to delete the repeated rows and thus yield to the unique rows in the dataset. Before data cleaning, there were 6,571 rows, which is like one row including headers in the given dataset. After only 6,531 rows including the headers were filtered out. Data analysis. Different functions such as sum of f, VLOOKUP, max, min were used initially to find some insight from the data. The function of SUMIF has been implemented to include every transaction for the given country along with the cost in the total column taken as the sum range. Further, in maximum, which is max, and a minimum function, which is min, was applied to discover where UK retailers' transaction was minimum and maximum. VLOOKUP function was used to look in the dataset for the corresponding nation to which invoice C581485 was done and the invoice showed a negative transaction, which is as follows: VLOOKUP and United Kingdom, which is the start date of 3rd January 2015 and the end date is 6th December 2015. The total number of days is 337. Also, max and min functions were used to get start and end date for which transactions are given. Also, to find out what duration the transactions were given, days function was used. A pivot table is a special from the table that, apart from a regular Excel spreadsheet, can interactively present data. A pivot table contain content may pivot from rows and the columns and vice versa with few mouse clicks. This is an original of the term pivot table. First of all, we want to know the sales retailers on two particular days, which is the data providing pivot table and the pie chart were used to analyze the sales of 8th and 9th December transactions, and the results were as follows. 8th December, which was the highest of 81,417.78, which seems to be highest, and on the 9th December it was around 32,131.53, which makes a grand total of 11,3549.31, which shows a transaction of two days. More than 70% of the transactions were done on December 8th, whereas the remaining transactions were done on December 9th. The purpose was to arrange the countries in order to quantities supplied to the customers in the country and the revenue generated, the total quantities delivered, and the transaction between the countries. The highest of it is United Kingdom, Norway. Few countries are United Kingdom, Norway, Germany, Fair, Belgium, Australia, Netherlands, France, Channel Islands, USA. USA shows a negative marking of 269. Another chart used for analyzing the data is the Pareto chart regarding the transactions from different countries to the United Kingdom retailers. From the Pareto chart, the first total cost are calculated for each of the 10 nations. Use the sum if formula. The Pareto chart helps prioritize the sales from the different countries. More than 90% of the sales are done in the United Kingdom only. Other countries below margin are ineffective in sales. Knowing in which month of the sale raises is important so that strategies from coming year can be made accordingly. The data for the months and the total cost of summarized using the pivot table. The sales was maximum in May with a transaction of 87,090, and the minimum in the September with a negative value of minus 79,691. Also, a pivot chart was plotted for the monthly sale using a pivot table. The monthly transactions of the UK retailers are as follows. Descriptive strategies of total cost columns obtained using the data analysis tool pack from the Excel add-ins. The table summarizes the total cost of value with mean of standard errors, mediums, and SD variance and others. The average value of the total cost is 17,283, whereas the maximum transaction is 16,849.6 and the minimum value is 16. The functions of subtotals were also used for analyzing the data, and the criteria of doing subtotals were every change in the country. Before creating the subtotals, the data were sorted based on the alphabets orders of country names, resulting the depend the both quantities and the value of transactions for UK Kingdom are maximum. Conclusion: from the analysis, we can see the UK transaction has been the most preferred marketplace preferred marketplace for products of retailers. Thus, the retailers will focus in the market and aim to set up and improve business in different countries wherein it has not been doing well. For countries in which the transaction is negative, the retailer should consider some strategies to improve the quantity and the products as well services. On Friday and Saturday, the sales of UK retailers are generally the highest side compared to the other 5 days. Thank you.